Hi, my name is Jessica Burdett. This is my husband, Scott Burdett. And just to tell you a little bit about how Scott was injured. So Scott served 22 years in the Army. He left service in 2016. Following his years in the service, he worked with the Soldier for Life program and continued to work with veterans after his active duty stint. In 2018, he was leaving work and he witnessed a car accident. He pulled over to the shoulder on I-95, got everyone to safety, called 911. The ambulance was on its way, and a distracted driver hit him in the shoulder on I-95. Scott sustained a traumatic brain injury, what they classified as a diffuse axonal injury, with a frontal bleed and a bleed to the basal ganglia. He spent 47 days in the neuro ICU unit of MCV in Richmond, Virginia, and then he was transferred to the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia. He stayed as an inpatient on the acquired brain injury floor at the Shepherd Center for almost 5 months. During that time, he emerged into consciousness. He began to learn to speak again. He was able to lose his trach. He started taking the first steps towards dependent walking. We began working on cognition and working with a neuropsychologist at that time. And then after 5 months, we were transferred to the Hunter Holmes McGuire Richmond VA polytrauma unit. Scott stayed an additional 4 months there, making our total inpatient stay for his brain injury 9 months. During that time, he continued to make progress, and we decided to come home and start our outpatient care. We knew that we needed to do something more than just traditional PT, OT speech every day. There had to be something else that was going to help him. So during that time, we started doing neurofeedback, and we started looking at other alternatives to healing, and that is where we discovered Hyperbaric. After reaching out to several people in the state of Virginia, we felt that Sarah with Hampton Roads Hyperbaric was where we wanted to go, and we started our first 40 dives in May of 2019, so a little over a year after Scott's injury. We didn't really see a big change in him until about the 20th dive. So at that time, we started to see an increased awareness and just his overall cognition. He was able to leave the tilt-back wheelchair. He gained trunk control. We started to see movement in his right arm, and we started seeing life almost come back into his eyes. So after our 40 dives, we took a few months of a break. We went back to the Shepherd Center and did an outpatient program this past fall. And so in February of this year, we started our next 40 dives. So we've begun to see another level of healing much quicker this time. So Scott's speech has increased greatly. His executive function is starting to come back. He is beginning to express desires and needs. He's beginning to say, I'm hungry, or I'm tired. He now takes the initiative to brush his own teeth. So we're starting to see those things come back, as well as his other, PT, OT speech. We're beginning to see greater progress quicker with those. We're just grateful for this therapy. It was what we needed to accelerate the other therapies and to bring healing to Scott. So we're so grateful that we discovered Hyperbaric. One last thing that I've noticed that's much different, Scott had a great deal of PTSD and anxiety prior to this injury, and it was exacerbated by this injury. So whenever we do the dives throughout the week, his anxiety is much less than it was prior to starting. So I also want to say thank you to America's Mighty Warriors and Debbie Lee for funding our first 40 dives and 20 of this round of dives. We're just so grateful for you and it's actually made it possible for us to continue his care. So thank you so much, Debbie, for what you do for our veterans.